At the narrow heart of Panama lies a waterway that unites two mighty oceans. On one side, the Pacific, on the other, the Atlantic. The Panama Canal cuts through this small nation, yet its importance is global, serving as one of the world's most vital gateways for trade and connection. For centuries, ships traveling from San Francisco to New York faced an unforgiving journey of over 24,000 kilometers, navigating the treacherous waters of Cape Horn. Whether through the Drake Passage, the Strait of Magellan, or the Beagle Channel, the voyage demanded immense time and resources. In shipping, time is money, yet these long routes meant fewer goods could move within fixed schedules, slowing global trade. Now imagine the same vessel taking a shortcut. Through the Panama Canal, the distance shrinks to just 9,800 kilometers, less than half. That means less than half the travel time. A ship arriving here could rest its crew and still reach New York long before any vessel rounding Cape Horn, a revolutionary change in maritime trade. Side by side, the difference is striking. One ship battles weeks of perilous seas, while the other, gliding through Panama, arrives in a fraction of the time. The advantage is clear, and to understand why, we now explore how this modern marvel of engineering truly works. In 2016, Panama unveiled its expanded canal, an engineering feat designed for the new generation of Neo-Panamax ships. Unlike the century-old locks, the new system uses vast water-saving basins. Each lock chamber is flanked by 3 basins, which recycle nearly 60% of the water each time a ship is raised or lowered. Instead of being lost to the ocean, this water flows back and forth between the basins and chambers, reducing overall consumption. The old swinging gates were replaced by colossal rolling gates, each sliding sideways into hidden recesses carved into the lock walls. These steel giants stand over 30 meters tall, weighing thousands of tons, yet glide smoothly on rails with the help of electric motors. Together, the water basins and rolling gates make the expanded canal more efficient, sustainable, and capable of carrying the largest vessels across the continent. Here we see a Neo-Panamax vessel, the giants built for this canal. With a maximum width of 49 meters and stretching up to 366 meters in length, these ships can carry an astonishing 14,000 containers, nearly 120,000 tons of cargo. To pass, they must remain within strict limits, no taller than 51 meters above the waterline, and no deeper than 15 meters below. A perfect fit for the canal's narrow passageways. The Panama Canal begins on the Pacific side, recognized as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. The first stage is the Miraflores locks, followed by Pedro Miguel. Here, powerful tugboats guide enormous vessels into position, while electric locomotives, known as mules, keep them steady along the concrete walls. Step by step, massive gates open and close, lifting the ship higher with each chamber. Together, the locks stretch to kilometers, raising ships 26 meters above sea level to the artificial Gatun Lake. From here, the journey deeper into Panama begins. On the Pacific side to the left stand the Miraflores and Pedro Miguel locks, while to the right, on the Atlantic, lies Agua Clara. Each massive steel gate rises between 14 and 25 meters, tallest at Miraflores, yet only 2 meters thick, built hollow to withstand immense pressure. Opened and closed by powerful hydraulic machines, these locks hold back Gatun Lake, preventing its waters from rushing into the sea. If drought drains the lake, the canal would fall silent, and nearby communities would face water shortages. Managing this balance is Panama's lifeline. The canal's path cuts through the Culebra Cut, blasted open in 1913 under President Woodrow Wilson, and crosses Gatun Lake, created by damming the Chagres River. For centuries the idea lingered, from Spain in 1513, to failed Scottish, British, and French attempts. But in the early 1900s, the United States forced Panama's separation from Colombia with gunboats and threats of war, remembered across Latin America as gunboat diplomacy. Construction was perilous, landslides, disease, and harsh conditions claimed thousands of lives. Yet the canal stood as a symbol of engineering triumph. For decades the US held control, until the 1977 Torrijos-Carter Treaty set the course for change. On 31 December 1999, the canal was handed to Panama, not just a transfer of power, but the completion of sovereignty over a passage that reshaped the world. On the Atlantic side, ships descend once more, through the Aguada Clara locks, formerly known as Gatun locks. Their design was inspired by Leonardo da Vinci's idea of mitre locks, using the water's own pressure to seal each chamber. Hydraulic machines open and close the gates, while underground tunnels transfer water between chambers. Only when levels are equal can the gates swing wide, safely passing the vessel forward. And so, after crossing the continent, a ship is lowered back to the sea, continuing its journey across the Atlantic. The Panama Canal remains not just a passage between oceans, but a reminder of what human determination, ingenuity, and resilience can achieve.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications.